Okay, so you're like me and you're studying Japanese, and on top of questioning your entire existence and everything, you think to yourself, well, I should probably take the JLPT because it's industry standard. That's absolutely correct. Yes, you should. So today I'm going to tell you guys how I'm studying for the JLPT N2. In the States, I believe they only offer the test once a year. So it's kind of strict with like the schedule. And my last year of college, the year I was actually going to take N3, I was actually in Japan during that time. So I couldn't take it. And on top of it, I just was kind of lazy, so that I didn't really look into it. I don't know, maybe there's another way I could have taken it, but I didn't even look into it. But that being said, I know I'm going to have to take it at some point. I mean, if you study Japanese, you really should, especially in an academic setting. Now, if you just want to be good at conversation in Kiowa, then, don't really worry about it. It's not a huge deal. But, if you learn how to read, how to write, and all that good stuff, you should absolutely take the JLPT. What I'm doing, studying for the JLPT, I'm doing actually quite a bit, but I'll kind of tell you guys what my routines are. That's the stuff that I do regularly. Now, I did take an N3 mock exam in December, and it's not as long as the real one, but I did really well. So whatever I'm doing is working, because when I arrived in Japan after 3 or 4 months of just not studying after graduation, I don't know if I would have been able to pass N3. And I started studying in September, October to get ready. And I'm kind of seeing where I'm at. And after just 2 months of studying, I found myself doing really well on the N3 practice exam. So I figured, hey, I'll just go for the N2. If I don't hit it, then I'll for sure hit it the next time. Oh, hey, my crush texted me. That's always nice. I'll get right back with you. Get right back with you, pretty lady. Okay, so what am I doing? First thing is first. For N2, you need this book, Tobira. This is usually what people will do after they finish Genki 2. You get through Genki 1 and 2, and then you have Tobira. Now, Tobira is a bit more difficult than Genki. There's a lot more information, but this will really give you a good foundation for kanji, and also a lot of new grammar points. But especially, I think kanji, the kanji that has come up in this book, I see all the time. Not only on practice exams online, but also even in my other N2 study materials, I see this material pop up. So the first thing I would suggest you do is to get through Tobira. It is kind of a long book. I think there's 16 chapters? 15 chapters. And I mean, there's just a lot of stuff in here, but it's really useful. So once you get this down, you'll have a really good foundation, and then you'll really start to see yourself improve. The book is called Jokyue no Tobira, the gateway to advanced Japanese, and I think that's true. This is really the gateway to advanced Japanese. Okay, but other than that, actual N2 study materials, so I have this book for vocabulary and this book for reading, Dokai. Now, keep in mind that not all these N2 materials are made equally. This thing right here, this guy, feels like a cash grab, 100%. It's in 4 languages. It's kind of made to appeal to a very wide range of people, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, but I look through some of these words and their translations, I just don't trust some of the translation. Kind of weird, they just kind of seem half-assed. I would use this with another dictionary. There's 2,000 vocabulary words in this, and these are some of the most common N2 level vocabulary that you're going to see everywhere. Once you reach the N2 level, you'll start hearing this in anime, and you'll start reading this in manga and in the news and online. So this is really, once you get these down and really memorized, then you're in a good place. Now this thing, I love this book. This book does not focus on how to read kanji or how to understand grammar. It teaches you how to break down a passage and get to the answer, even if you don't know all the kanji and even if you don't know all the grammar. Now, of course, that's not going to work if you don't know any of it. You still have to know most of it, but you can get by without knowing all of it. So there's actually a couple of these where I just did not know maybe 30% of the kanji in here, but I was still able to get the right answer because I'll just kind of show you guys. There's different kinds of questions in that portion of the JLPT. So, there's questions that ask about giving a reason, or there's questions that say, hey, explain this underlined part, or who was this sentence referring to, or so on and so forth, or compare and contrast these things. So it kind of teaches you what to look out for rather than just how to read kanji and what grammar is, what the grammar to understand. So I actually show this to my Japanese friends sometimes, and they're like, yeah, even I had to read that 2 or 3 times because at first all the answers seem right, but you have to really read the text and kind of like single out the best answer. It gets to be more difficult not only in a linguistic sense but also in a reasoning sense. So this is where you have to kind of graduate from that old like, oh, okay, I have to understand every single part of this before I can digest it. It's not entirely true. Especially for the JLPT. You don't have to understand every single part of the reading portion to answer the question correctly. Really recommend this. I don't have the book on me. I actually left one of my books at work, but you'll see it. I'll post a picture of it here. It's called Read Real Japanese, and that book is really good. Once you kind of get halfway through this guy, and once you get through Tobita, if you start reading that book, you will start to see a lot of the stuff you learned, and that's really going to help it stick. Because, of course, you might not remember it at first, but with repetition and seeing it time after time, you will start to remember. So what that book does is it has Japanese, the original Japanese text, and then next to it, there's translations of only the difficult or tricky passages. So it doesn't give you the English translation of the text, it just gives you English translations of certain parts of certain sentences. So you still have to think of the translation yourself. And then I love it because at the end, in the back of the book, it goes through so many different types of writing styles in Japanese, and also many grammar points and cultural insights that also come up on the JLPT. So I really do recommend that. And then also, I'm reading, I think this is like Shogakuse level manga. I want to say this is like Go Rokunensei level manga, I think. And now, I can't read all of this without a dictionary. I would say I get 80% of it. At any given chapter, I get 80% of it without a dictionary. But again, this is just for repetition. And this is the kind of stuff like this. And then also sometimes I play Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee or whatever. I play the Let's Go games in Japanese. And other games that I enjoy in Japanese. And that's simply just for repetition, right? Because the more you see it, the more you'll be exposed to it. And like I said, you might not remember it the first time. You might not remember the second time. But you're probably going to remember the third time. And then the longer you go without seeing it, you see it again. Oh, I got it. Bam, you remember it. See, it's all about that repetition. So I recommend manga. Don't go for something that's too high of a level that's not going to do you any good. Because then you might as well just study from a textbook. If you need a dictionary for every sentence, then it's not really doing you much good. Also, this is Ichi Nensei to Roku Nensei kanji drill. These are everywhere in Japan because, the elementary school kids have to learn. What do they learn? Maybe, I hear they learn like 1,000 kanji by the time they graduate. Or something like that. I don't know, maybe it's more. But anyways, this is basically, it makes learning kanji fun. And right now I'm on the stupid mushroom section, which is kind of lame. But as you see here, there's a lot of stuff like cheetahs and sharks. I mean, that's cool, and it gives little passages and it teaches you about the animal or the plant or whatever, and you have to write in the kanji yourself. And as you can see, I also use it to learn vocabulary. And then you'll see here at the beginning of the book that all the kanji is written out for you, and it's separated by what year the kids here learn it. So Ichi Nensei, Ni Nensei, San Nensei, Yo Nensei, so on and so forth. Maybe just 2-3 times a week. And again, this isn't difficult. I have to use my dictionary. The idea here is not to be able, for the kids, the idea is for them to be able to write it by memory. But for me, as the JLPT does not test writing, I don't care about writing right now. I'm not focusing on that. For me, I'm focusing on remembering the vocabulary and the kanji in all its various uses. So really recommend these kanji drills. This is actually a gift. Oh, and by the way, for listening, I watch anime. I watch a lot of Terrace House, although I don't really think that's going to help you with the JLPT. Watch animes with Japanese subtitles on. Watch news. Watch Japanese news because you'll see the kanji on the screen. Listen to podcasts, but I try to stick with podcasts with scripts because if there's no script, then I'm just like struggling trying to figure out what they said and look it up and so I can study it later. But try to stick with one with scripts, and I actually don't have one that I listen to regularly. I kind of just look around for some based on my interests. So, and I don't listen to podcasts often, to be honest. And another thing is, too, living in Japan, I just always listen to, I'm not saying I eavesdrop, but like I listen to people around me at work. Always keep your ear out at meetings. If I can like try and listen into the conversation, I'll see what I can grab from it. And that's incredibly helpful, like living here. It's really, really useful. And so, but I do practice writing because writing helps things stick into your long-term memory. I don't really do it because I want to remember stroke order or anything like that, but just because I want to remember kanji in general and grammar in general. So as you can see, I write down kanji. And these are actually taken from from song lyrics. I don't know if you can see this. But yeah, listen to Japanese songs and look at the lyrics. Man, that's been so helpful for me because the songs that I like, I listen to over and over and over. And if I forget a word or a grammar point in a song, I'll just be like, I looked that up one day, but now I have to look it up again, and I'll be a little disappointed in myself. But then I'll look it up, and I'm way more likely to remember the second or third time. So listen to Japanese songs you like and look at the lyrics. I'm horrible at singing, but if you're not, feel free to. And for grammar, let's see, look at this. This is all my grammar stuff. So this stuff, actually, I did all geared towards Kaiwa. Because the first couple months when I was in Japan, I'm like, Kaiwa is everything. But then I'm like, I gotta take the JLPT. So there's no interview in the JLPT, which maybe there should be. And so this is what I do for grammar. Just like anyone else, I write it out, give some example sentences, try to use the grammar point. If it has multiple meanings, I try to use those multiple meanings. I started at N3 because my grammar was a bit, I would say my grammar wasn't where it should have been. And grammar's hard because you're not going to use most of this grammar most of the time in daily conversation and stuff, whereas you can use a lot of the vocabulary. But the grammar, you're really not going to use as much. So it's really like, you try to read as much as you can, take as much as you can from books and whatnot and manga. So I write these down, try to use new kanji as well in that. And then so for vocabulary, these little guys here that students love to use in Japan. So you just open this up and you're like, bam! And you're like, okay, what's this? I don't know, I can't even see that. It's backwards, but Hisha, okay. Writer, author. Bam. Okay, what is this? Shikaru, to scold. Shikaru, to scold. Bam, to scold. Okay, great. Don't judge my kanji skills, by the way. I can't really write. And I can't write in English, as you can tell, obviously. So I can't even... Sui mean? Sleep. Okay, but anyways, I have a lot of these, and I actually have 4 right now. I divide my Tango book up, and then I write them in here, and then I just review them when I have a free minute. These are really useful because you can just do it whenever, like, okay, I'm on a train or I'm just at work chilling, got a free minute after lunch, bam, 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 bam. But yeah, and then also, too, working in Japan is great. Even though I'm an English teacher, I get a bunch of Japanese stuff put on my desk, like this the other day was put on my desk at elementary school, and so I stopped and I'm like, how much do I know? Okay, so hayaoki, hayane, okay, like, I know what that means. Or, the stuff comes up. You don't have to always go searching for stuff to study. Like, this is put on my desk, and I'm like, okay, great. Like, oh, okay, in case, the kanji for for tooth, might have slipped my mind. Oh, there it is. And I know it's ha because look at the cute little picture right there. Okay? So, the idea is, at this level, you have to learn by repetition. You're going to learn hundreds and thousands of vocabulary and kanji, and you're going to end up forgetting a lot of them. But you forget, and then you relearn. You forget and you relearn. You do that a number of times and you will memorize something. That's what learning is. That's why babies learn without having to try, because they're just constantly exposed to things. So, and then even just like, look at the snacks. Like, I don't even know what have this, do I even know have this kanji? I don't. These are good. But anyways, yeah, the idea is repetition. You have to see it over and over. And also, if you can, try and mix your own personal interest in with it. So I like music, so I listen to a lot of songs. I read manga that I like in Japanese. I play games that I like in Japanese. And, you know, the idea is to balance the enjoyment with it as well, so it doesn't quite feel like studying, so you don't hate yourself. That's the idea. So anyways, yeah, I hope this video helped you. Good luck to you guys taking the test. Good luck to me in July. I'll be taking N2. Feel pretty confident about it, to be honest. I do a lot of practice stuff online, and I'm doing fairly well, a lot better than I was a couple months ago. Japanese will always be a challenge, I suppose. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. Hope this video helps. And yeah, see you later.